So let's do a very simple little mat work session to practice a couple of the moves. Come lie on your back, bend your knees, so your knees are facing towards the ceiling and your feet are flat on the floor as if they're standing, like that, straight down. Okay, so press your feet down into the mat and let your pelvis flatten into the floor, and relax that pressure in your feet and let your pelvis arch. So you can put your hands underneath your lower back. You can notice that space. So if you push your feet back down again, you'll flatten the back, and if you release the feet, you'll let your back arch. And that's a very simple awareness of your lower back and how it moves. It tucks under and it arches, flattens and arches, flexes, extends, whatever words you use to describe that movement. And notice what happens at the front of the body. When you flatten the back, it shortens, and when you let it go and it arches, you have more space at the front of the body. You notice the back of your pelvis rolling forwards and backwards from north to south, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock if you were on the clock face. And it's just doing something as simple as this that you can start to help release some of the tightness that we have around the belly, especially if we're sitting quite a lot, or tension, worry, can create a lot of tightness in the gut, can create a lot of tension around in your glutes, can create a lot of tension in your lower back. And then you start to feel where halfway is. Where is your halfway point for those two positions? Halfway. That's all you're looking for. Can you find halfway? And then can you start to go from right to left? So it starts to dip one side to the other, as if you're having more weight on the back of the right side and then the back of the left side. So you're touching east and west. 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, on the clock face. Can you do that with hardly any movement in your knees? So you can see it's not a huge movement, we're not doing a whole swaying movement, it's quite small. And then can you put those two moves together? So you flatten the back, have more weight on one side of the pelvis, and then arch the back, and then more weight on the other side of the pelvis, and then flatten the back. So you're going around the clock face or around the compass. Trying to touch all 4 points. Can you notice your breath at the same time and relax your jaw? Then can you go back the other way? Can you unwind it? Keeping it slow, small and simple, yes? Not going crazy. You just want to free up the lower back and bring some awareness to the releasing tightness in the gut. And tightness in the gut and tension around here will inhibit or weaken your lower back. And then come back to what feels like the middle. And you find the middle much easier now. The pelvis will just settle in the centre. And then just bring your attention to one leg and just let it gently fall out to one side. Bring it back and then change legs. So you're trying to keep the pelvis stable now. So you've noticed from the movement where east and west is. So you want to keep those equal, the right and the left side of the pelvis feeling the same. So when you take your leg out to one side, you don't have more weight over on that side of the pelvis. They stay equal, as if they're a set of scales. It doesn't have to be a huge movement here. You're not looking to touch the floor. You're just looking for the leg to fall out to the side and come back in. That's all there is to it. Don't overcomplicate it. But feel that you can move from the top of your femur now. So bring your awareness to where the femur sits inside your pelvis, the ball and socket joint, and it sits inside the pelvis. So if you let the leg move from there, you're working a lot deeper inside the pelvis rather than thinking about your knees or your feet. So then it can sink down. It feels like it's sinking down into the softness of your pelvis, so you're not over tightening or clenching your quads. on your thighs. And that's the last one. And then come back to the middle. Put your hands on your ribs and breathe into your hands. Now, looks easy, yes, but most of us breathe up here into our shoulders, or we breathe too much into our belly, which can create issues in your shoulders or in your back. So breathe in the middle of those two. So in your ribs, and feel that your hands can just be your guide here. The heel of the hands, breathe into those. So the ribs expand outwards. Lovely. And then roll yourself over onto one side. Take your hands with you and use your hands to push yourself up. Not your neck, use your hands. Sort your hair out. And there you go, 3 simple things. Arching and flattening, the rolling of the pelvis, the pelvic clot, working on the little bent knee fall out. And I always finish sessions with breathing, just to bring that attention back to the breath and notice where you're breathing from. Because if you're breathing up here, and breathing too much into your belly, you'll be getting shoulder problems or back problems. And if you sort your breathing out, your abdominal muscles will just come back online and your back muscles can go, oh, thank you very much, and become stronger in their letting go. If that makes sense. Happy practicing.